Welcome back to the shop. I was going through my toolbox and I noticed these pliers that are maybe 2 or 3 weeks old are starting to look pretty rough. I bought these for pulling spark plug boots off. Occasionally when I'm working on something I need to pull a spark plug boot off. It's really hard to get off, and I know they make spark plug boot pliers, but anyway, I figured these would work pretty good. So because you don't want to pull from the spark plug wire itself, that'll create all sorts of problems. It'll pull it right out of the boot. So anyway, I bought these. They work good for that, but they look like crap, and they're new. So it makes me wonder, is there any sort of scenario in which polishing a new tool would make sense? I mean, I've got plenty of this stuff that needs to be cleaned up. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, hey, I've got so much time and so little to do that I can start cleaning up good tools, but it is an interesting question in my mind. So what I'm going to do is I've got these Craftsman wrenches here. They're both 7/16. They're identical, and I'm going to clean one up, sand it, polish it, and all that stuff, and then we'll look at it at the end, just sort of as an experiment, and see how much of a difference it makes when you do clean up a new tool. So I think that'll be interesting. Anyway, so let's get started. I at least want to try to keep these. The primary motivation is to keep these things from deteriorating anymore. So let's get going. Alright, so this is sort of a little interruption here. The plastic handles on here, I figured they're not going to serve any other utility other than to hold moisture, so I went ahead and just kept sanding through them, and it popped off pretty quickly. But I think what happened in actuality is the rubber grips was a means of saving, grinding time. So they could come through and just bypass the whole fit and finish part on these handles and just dip them and cover it up. So, I'm not saying that's right or wrong or anything. I'm just saying that's what I think is happening. So let me go ahead and provide the fit and finish for these handles. I'm just going to use the Kalamazoo on that. Alright, so I'm a little bit less than halfway through, I would say, and in cleaning this up, I don't think I've made any real substantive changes from here up. Some of it looks a little cleaner, the edges are a little bit, some of these things were pretty sharp before, but from here down I think I've made some real changes. You can see that the ridges and whatnot in this are just, these are just cut with a punch or a press or something like that. Just forged, however, I don't know the terminology. But anyway, these things are hammered out, so to speak, and then just left very, very rough. And in the time lapse, that camera that I'm using over there, the Garmin, is actually shooting 1 frame every half a second, so 2 frames per second. So that speeds it up a pretty good ways. But what I mentioned in the video the other day about the mead is that having that triangular shaped void in there, much like the 30-inch belt sanders that you see at Harbor Freight and whatnot, allows you to fit the handle, the inside of the handle, and to clean the back portion. So if you wanted to sand the back of this, this has to be in the works behind the belt, because the leading edge of the if this part of my hand is the sandpaper, it has to be. Anyway, pay attention and scroll back a little bit, look at the video, or go watch my video yesterday about the Kalamazoo. Anyway, I'm gonna have to use the mead. All that is to say, I'm going to have to go back and use the mead to do the inside of this section, and I'll probably get a little clip of that. But I don't want to bore you too much with the sanding stuff, so I'm going to grab a little bit of extra footage of that just to explain the interface here, and then just keep sanding and then bring it back when I'm done with these. And then so far, my initial impression on sanding a new wrench, isn't looking too good. I've got This is very hard stuff, and the corners are hard to reconcile. I'm not sure that this was a good idea, but I'm going to finish this out anyway, and you know, we'll bring you back. So, all right, I'm going to get back to work. Just put a couple more seconds of me cleaning this up, and to demonstrate the what I was talking about with the difference between the Kalamazoo and the Mead, and then we'll be back with the finished product. Alright, so this is the cleaned up set of Tecton needle nose, whatever that, I don't really know what you call these. But anyway, I've cleaned the handles up and sort of got rid of all that horrible finish that they had from the factory. I think that, you've heard me mention this before, you know, just polishing is a means of protecting things, and I think that if I would have left these grips on, you know, this is what's left of them, if I would have left these things on, it would have invariably been a point for water to drip down in there and just become a hot mess. So I think that again, the initial question is, you know, is there a benefit to cleaning up tools that were are new? And I would say in this particular case, I think that removing those handles was beneficial, and applying some sort of additional coating to this, whether it be WD-40 or whatever. You know, I still got this super expensive can of Bow Shield I'm trying out. $12 for 4 ounces. Anyway, I don't know whether I like it or not yet. The price is a little rich for my blood. But anyway, in this particular instance, I think that, you know, when I got the tool, if I would have applied some additional protection to it, I would have been better off. And then I could have just called it a day. However, I didn't do that, and it started to rust, so, you know, here I am with it now. I think that, you know, in terms of tool restorations, it's got a couple negative sides to it. One is that, you know, I paid full price for this tool, so, you know, that immediately shoots out all the fun of taking a tool that looked like heck and cleaning it up and you know, having something for $1. So here I got something for $12 or $13, and I still had to put work into it. You know, you're not really gaining too much ground at making purchases like that. So there's the fact that I'm paying full price for this, and then there's that, you know, that gratification isn't there when the tool really looks like trash, and then, you know, you come back and you say, oh my God, this is what it looked like before. You know, there's some immediate gratification to that, and that's not really here either. So, you know, you're not really, you got a couple strikes right off the hop. But, you know, I think that in general, the plastic handles on those could be problematic, and you know, maybe just avoid buying tools like that altogether is the solution. So anyway, I think that these things are better off than they were before. It necessarily wasn't a lot of fun doing it. It was a lot of work, a lot of grinding for this to get where I'm at now. And again, none of the real gratification that was there. With regard to the Craftsman wrenches that I had done, and sort of taking that question one step further, you know, what about finishing a tool that's, you know, in good shape? And sort of for a comparative analysis, what's the difference? And, you know, can you tell which one I even did? It's probably pretty hard, but, you know, it's going to be this one. You can maybe see that the finish is a little bit nicer on there. But this was, you know, that didn't do anything. It was just a complete waste of my time, as far as I could tell. Yeah, it sort of took out some of this markings or whatever that kind of finish is on there, that stippling, and gave it more of that polished look or whatever. But anyway, you know, that brushed nickel kind of finish. This was a complete and utter waste of time. I think that was a disservice to the tool, and now I know that, you know, there would be no utility, no rational explanation as to why you take a perfectly good wrench and try to clean it up a little bit more, in my mind. But again, for this one, I think, you know, this tool should be less inclined to rust now. And anyway, so I just wanted to make a little bit of content today. Going to be busy for the next couple days, and anyway, just wanted to get something up on the channel and spend a little bit of time in the shop. Also, I'm going to paste in a clip here. One of the 357 was teasing me about getting a selfie with the alligator. They were out back playing today, so I'm going to paste in a clip here. Anyway, so that was it. That's my mascot. I'd just like to thank everybody again for watching, subscribing, and commenting. And, you know, again, I mentioned this before. A lot of people comment, and I've just been super busy. I try to catch up, try to comment on everybody who comments. I try to at least respond or like or whatever. I acknowledge it. You put in the time, I'll put in the time. You know, that's how I think it should be done, because I truly do appreciate everybody's time and their comments and their responses, and I read every one of them. I promise you that I read every single one of them. And anyway, I've just been completely swamped. So, thanks again. I hope you're having a good day. Bye.